I think to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first. So, we don't need mavericks. We don't need people trying to reinvent the wheel. We need people that are willing to follow a proven system and with a degree of business acumen as well, to understand the difference between an investment and an expense.
Hey guys, thanks again for joining us today for our Best Franchise Network's Fireside Chat interview. Today we have the pleasure of meeting with TJ, Katie, and Chance from Redline Athletics. They're going to tell us all about their franchise, what makes them so great, and why you should get involved. So without taking up too much time, I'll toss it over to TJ first. If you guys want to go around, introduce yourselves, give a little snippet.
Sure, yeah. My name is TJ O'Connor. I'm the president of development. So I help people that are inquiring into the brand, kind of help make that decision and walk them through their due diligence process.
All right.
I'll go next. I'm Katie Witmer. I'm the vice president of business development, and I help franchisees grow their businesses.
And I am Chance Pearson. I'm the CEO. I have been in membership-based businesses for over 20 years. I've been a franchisee in this business. I have 2 kids that are athletes at a Redline, and super excited to talk to you guys today. I'm pretty well versed in the topic, so I look forward to your questions, Brianna.
Cool, awesome. So if you want, whoever wants to start, you can give us a little high-level pitch of, the business. Just tell us a little bit about your franchise. Where did you start? Where'd the idea come from? How has the success been over the years?
You want to start it?
Yeah, I don't mind starting. So, we're a business that's focused on 8 to 18-year-old athletes predominantly. So that's our sweet spot. This entire office and our entire franchise base is very, very passionate about this. That's where our hearts are. So we not only want to make them faster and stronger, but the real idea here is to help with overall character development, increasing their self-esteem, their self-worth by the benefits that they're getting through proper, health and nutrition and movement mechanics and things that they're going to learn at Redline. So that's really, I think what Redline is at a high level, and we're excited to offer this opportunity in the state of Arizona next to our corporate office, and really looking forward to supporting some other franchisees out in the 48th state.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback on that. I think all athletes have a potential, and there's a wide spectrum of potentials, right? So some kids are going to be D1 athletes, and some kids are, going to hope to make the JV team. And what our job is essentially is to partner with these kids and these parents and help unlock their potential, whatever that might be. And we believe sports create, such an environment for learning and growth. And we want as many kids as possible to be able to experience as much enjoyment and success as possible in sports because of the valuable lessons that it can teach us, right? So, I think there's a lot of kids out there that are on the cusp of walking away from sports altogether, regardless of the age. I think that's just a reality. And for us, we want to make sure that these kids are getting enough out of it, enough dopamine hits to where they want to stick around and they want to see it through and they want to see how far that they can go. So sometimes that's by us creating moments for them inside of a performance center. But the hope is that we can allow them to have those moments be created on the field or on the court as well. And parents will pay for that ultimately. As a Redline parent myself, to see the improvements, either from a performance standpoint, so, running faster, more agility, jumping higher, that stuff is real. But some of the immeasurables like confidence are the things that I would probably pay the most for. And I have 2 kids, 2 very different kids. My daughter and the confidence that she's developed through Redline is invaluable, right? So, it's allowed her to stick with sports where she would have probably walked away otherwise. So knowing the moments that I've had with her and knowing how much I would pay for those moments and knowing it's a direct result from what Redline was able to give her, it just puts it all into perspective for us. And Redline's been around since like 2009. So the original one is in San Juan Capistrano. The founder of Redline, John Leonesio, his kids worked out there, and John was there. He had created Massage Envy, The Joint Chiropractic, Amazing Lash Studios, and he went to Redline and he thought to himself, this is a perfect concept to franchise. And here we are 14 years later, and we have 50 plus open across the nation, and we're starting to develop here in Arizona now for the first time. So it's super exciting. It's exciting from a business standpoint, but also just the impact that you're able to have with the next generation. I think that's legacy stuff that we get to do on a day-to-day basis, which is what gets us so fired up. We really get to make an impact on the world, we believe, by really building these kids up. So hopefully that helps paint a picture, at least through my lenses, on who we are and what we do and why we do it, I guess, even more importantly.
Absolutely. And I have to agree with you. There's definitely a large variety of kids out there that, they play sports, they want to be good someday, they want to maybe go to college and do that, but maybe they don't have the proper training facility or the resources to even train as hard as they would like to be better and get better. For one, when I was younger, I played softball, field hockey, and I did not have resources to go running or practicing outside of practice. So it's really important for kids to kind of get involved with something extracurricular on their own time and have their parents help support them on that front as well. So I think your program is truly great, especially for aspiring athletes.
I appreciate that. I mean, I too wish that I had a Redline when I was growing up, and I think most people who get familiar with it feel the same way. From the value for me would have been being around other coaches that aren't my school coaches to help build me up. I think that would have been great. And, you're giving these kids the fundamentals. Like, if you see a Redline kid line up for a race or line up, to run a route, they carry themselves differently. Their form and their mechanics is differently. So you're building this foundation that will truly, set them apart from everybody else. So, there's so much to it. It's very holistic. It's the X's and O's, sure, but it's a lot of the intangibles, a lot of the soft skills, a lot of the character development stuff that all comes together. And we're helping these kids learn how to persevere, push through adversity, how to be leaders amongst their group. We're teaching them compassion, empathy for other athletes, and just giving them an overall self-awareness of how to conduct themselves and carry themselves, because all these kids, they're not all going to go on to play college, whatever, right? But they are going to grow up to be mothers, to be husbands, to be coworkers, good neighbors, you name it. So it's so important that we take our platform and our gift. And of course, we're going to equip these athletes to be great on the field. But it is it's a two-pronged approach. We definitely want to help build them up to be better everything else other than athletes as well.
That's awesome. Is there anything about the perfect franchisee? What do you guys look for as far as someone who's going to run this facility and essentially carry that legacy on for these kids?
For me and TJ and Katie, I would love you all to answer this. For me, I want them to be able to follow as well as they lead, and lead as well as they follow. I think to be a franchisee, it's a mixture of both. And I think to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first. So, we don't need mavericks. We don't need people trying to reinvent the wheel. We need people that are willing to follow a proven system and with a degree of business acumen as well, to understand the difference between an investment and an expense is important for me. And be passionate about kids and be passionate about the legacy impact that we're able to have. Love sports. I mean, that's important as well. And, to get, the feel goods through empowering others to do great things. That's what's important to me. I think if you have kids, that's great. If you love kids, that's great too. So, all of those things wrapped up, we can do a lot with that. It's ultimately, if you are passionate about what we do, you will be great at what we do. If you're trying to get into Redline just to make it rich, and you're not passionate about those things, you'll probably never make it rich. You understand what I'm saying? Like it has to come from a passion and a deep rooted connection to what we do. And that's the foundation and the building blocks and really the springboard to be great at what we do. TJ, what would you say?
Yeah, I would start with the loving of kids. I mean, I talk to people on a regular basis, and that's top of my list. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes in terms of our owners and their success across the country. But it really starts there, and it's got to permeate through to their staff. This isn't like training college or professional athletes, and so it's really got to be something where there's a real heart for the kids, at that unit level. And again, I think our office does a very good job of supporting those coaches and reiterating that and training little things that'll help bring some things out of the kids that'll make their jobs a little bit easier. But I would 100% start with just caring about the kids first.
And to add one thing to it, like you have to be as passionate or even more passionate about taking average athletes and making them good as you are taking good athletes and making them great. Because, if all you care about is the top 3%, like the market share is pretty small. Right. So if we can go after, let's say we even set aside those top 3% and went after the bottom 97, it's a numbers game. We're going to win. But if all you want to do is take a 4-star athlete and make them a 5-star athlete, that's not a business. That's like a hobby. It's you're going to run out of kids pretty quick. So I want people to be passionate about the kid, who's middle of the road and trying to give him or her the tools to now be, in the top 20, top 10%. That should be just as fun, if not more fun for these people. Because at the end of the day, like the majority, of the kids that we're going to have the opportunity to work with are more middle of the road than elite. And that's just because there's more of them, right? It's like a funnel. So if that doesn't excite you, it might not be the right fit for you either.
Okay. Do you guys think it's important that they have previous experience in this industry, or can they essentially come from any walk of life as long as, they are trainable and they have the same passions that you just spoke of?
TJ, go ahead.
Katie was going to jump in.
Yeah.
From a support standpoint, from when I take them over and help them grow their business, I love if they have past prior experience in any sort of business operations, just understand some semblance of what a corporate role kind of looks like. It's not a corporate role, right? You are going into business with Redline and business for yourself, but very much you need to understand business operations. And kind of to piggyback off of what Chance said earlier, my passion is marketing. And so being able to get the word out about Redline is so important. And it is an investment in your performance center. And so being open and willing to do the things that we recommend, because we've been in this role for quite a while, is something that I look for in a potential franchisee. Just coachable. Yeah. Anything to add on that?
Well said.
So it's good. It definitely seems like we're looking more so for the passion and the drive than we are a specific, cookie cutter build of a person, which is, I think, really important for a franchisee. Coming on board, I know a lot of people that I speak to say, we want to try to create good habits, not fix bad habits. So, if someone has prior experience, perhaps they have their own set of ways that they do things, but you're looking to kind of mold someone into the Redline, the Redline face of that franchise. So, it's definitely important to have someone who's willing to learn, has the drive to come in and be something great. Is that coming with the cost of them being a prior business owner, or is that not necessarily important? I mean, say they ran a gym or they have prior just training experience, but they've never owned their own business. Is that kind of a deal breaker for you guys?
No, it's not. I mean, not at all. I think, somebody who's owned their own business before, they tend to be more entrepreneurial, which means they're willing to take risks and bet on themselves and go for it. So, in franchising, that's no different. You need to be, take risks, be willing to bet on yourself and go for it. So I think there's a commonality there, but there need not be a precedence of owning your own business before you own Redline. I think that's why franchising exists is so that we can come alongside somebody with no experience and really cut down the learning curve that they would have otherwise, which is going to save them, a lot of money in the process, right? So they don't need to have owned their own business in previously, but like Katie said, like marketing as an example, we have people that just want to invest the minimum requirement because they're trying to mitigate expenses. And then we have people really going for it on marketing. And the ones who are really going for it are, their business is exploding. And so, it's like, are you willing to take risks? Maybe based off of recommendations and data. Risks that are calculated. I think that's important for anybody, that's going to venture out and do something on their own. They don't know what they don't know. And when you don't know something, lean on somebody who does know something about what you're fearful of, if that was trackable. And I think, again, that's what franchising is. Like, I have 6 years worth of data that I've studied closely that I use to make my decisions. Now, if you were to do this on your own, you don't have said data from all over the nation, from every season, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's a lot riskier going out on your own. And I think this is, this just allows somebody who's been there, done that, taking the risks and to lead the path for you.
Absolutely. Does anyone else have anything to share on that, or do you want to leave it at that?
You can leave it at that, Katie, unless you have something.
Okay, cool. So with all of that in mind, I know that you mentioned earlier, and I wanted to ask more about this and see if we can get some more information on it. You mentioned that you're expanding into your home base, your Arizona market. Why is that so important? Why is it so significant? And really what I want to know is why have you not done it before? Why now?
DJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is super important. And ultimately what happened is just an ownership situation. So we have a model where we have a regional developer that kind of helps support different areas throughout the country. And in Arizona, we had a regional developer that was looking to personally develop all of the open locations, or open all locations in the state himself. And just through some, deals that didn't work out, health issues, and for other reasons, never really got off the ground. And it was really late last year, early this year, that we were able to work out a deal where we could kind of take over, control of that territory again and really open it up to the market and allow other various franchisees to come in throughout the valley and to develop here. So not just have it be one individual. So just took a little bit of time to get through that and for it to be fair and equitable for everybody. But here we are, and we've been jonesing for other locations to open here in the valley. So I'm the only remote employee here, but everybody else lives in all different parts. And the way that we would like to see it is that maybe we're spending time in some of those locations throughout the week as just like our home office. If you want to come in and tap me on the shoulder and ask a specific question, I'm happy to help. But otherwise, I'm just not going into the HQ today, and I'm going to be in your performance center providing any sort of support or value for your staff. Another thing that comes to mind for me is again, being in Florida. If we have a franchise that opens here, as they hire and bring staff on, a lot of that initial training is remote, obviously. In Arizona, we don't know what this is going to feel like, but it's going to be very different, right? As you hire people, they can literally walk right into the performance center in Scottsdale that's bolted onto the HQ. They can start their training and their learning and everything on site with kids, with directors and VPs of the company and of the performance center next door. So we're really excited about it for kind of some selfish reasons, but also we feel like we're going to have some owners that are pretty blessed to be running Redlines out there with all of us living out there and being able to stop in on a whim.
Sure. I assume it comes with kind of added support, being that they're right next door to you as well. It's more so a perk than it is someone who might be on the other side of the country.
Sure.
Absolutely. Think about it this way. The regional support team is the CEO, the president, and a vice president of the corporate office. So we have a vested interest in supporting these franchisees in this state. Not to say that everybody who works at the corporate office isn't incentivized to support them. Like, we all want Arizona to be the best of the best, and I believe they have the tools it takes to be the best of the best. For somebody who might put a location, let's say Chandler Gilbert area, I would imagine Miss Katie Witmer would be in your location 2, 3, 4 days a week, because she lives out there, and it would be a great place for a Redline. But just that's one example. And and like TJ said, imagine if you're hiring a new coach and they need to be trained. They come to Scottsdale and they're going to work at the Scottsdale Redline, whether for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long, to make sure that they have a good grasp on our programming and how we deliver it. The National Director of Athletic Development also works in Scottsdale. So that's like the head coach of all the coaches would be hand-holding your coach and taking you through the process to make sure that they're great at what they do, and teaching them, all of the little nuances that make Redline unique and great. So let's say a coach calls in sick. Well, guess what? We're going to send the National Director of Athletic Development to your location today to run the show, and you're not going to skip a beat. Nobody else in the nation has that ability. Nobody. And, people fly to Scottsdale to do franchise training, and then they fly back to get more training. But we can just walk into your performance center and train you there, or vice versa, really any day of the week. So that's super unique. And, if I need to say this tongue in cheek, but if anybody knows how to be successful in this brand, it's us. Another one of our partners, Brad Hinkle, he is the franchisee at Scottsdale, and he's the flagship because of of the fact that he lives here, he works here, and he's an extension of this office day in and day out. So just like if you think about training, super easy. You need a sub, super easy. You need a ear. Do you want to get coffee as opposed to set up a Zoom? No offense to Zoom calls, but like, let's meet and let's chat, let's break bread, let's connect, like, let's be humans with one another and have a real relationship where I can listen and I can connect with you and really understand where you're at, meet you where you're at, and then take you to where you're trying to go. So that's just unique here. We can't do that anywhere else in the world.
Sure. There's nothing like, looking someone in the eye and being able to connect on a deeper level and, getting down to the root of what your questions might be, or maybe your concerns about your new location, or where do I go next? How do I get better?
Yeah.
On top of just regular training support, Katie, can you tell us a little bit more about like the sales and marketing process? How do you support the franchisees in that aspect?
Yeah, so we have a couple different vendors that we work with, and I oversee all of that relationship between the franchisee and the vendors that we use in terms of marketing. A lot of our franchisees don't really understand how digital marketing works. And so there's a big education piece there that falls on me and my team to make sure that they understand the importance of marketing. And that goes for what we're doing on digital, like for Facebook and Instagram on the paid side, as well as social media strategy. We put together a monthly content calendar, we schedule it out, we give you the images, we give you the copy, we link to blogs that we have. Phil, that Chance mentioned earlier, our director of athletic development, the coach for all the coaches, we have him author blogs. So then that way we have that kind of subject matter expert who really is speaking to what's happening inside of our performance centers. One of the greatest joys in this role is getting to work with the franchisees and kind of like seeing that aha moment of like, oh, marketing isn't black magic. Like, I understand that, like, I put money in and now I'm seeing the return. And so that's one of my favorite parts of helping new franchisees. And I'm excited that we can grow this brand in Arizona. I am an Arizona native. I grew up on the West Side, like I represent. And so I am just so proud of what we've built at Redline, and to be able to see it expand throughout the state of Arizona is so exciting and thrilling. And if you build one in Flagstaff, I'll work from Flagstaff. It's not just the East Valley. I will visit you no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
fair.
Hey, so you guys have great support, great energy. I mean, that's important when you're prospecting a franchise. You know, a lot of people are looking for something that they can resonate with, something that's going to be good for not only them, but their family and their future. So, you know, if you come on board with a franchise and, you know, perhaps they don't have the best energy or they're not very supportive, that's, I hate to say it, but doomed to fail. I mean, having the right people smile on your face, looking to break bread, like Chance said, you know, that's really important when you're building something great, especially at, you know, the volume that you guys are speaking. Um, you know, when it comes to coming on board, I'm going to kind of segue into the nitty gritty stuff now and see if you can give a little bit of details to our viewers. What does it cost to purchase this franchise? I know it's not as cut and dry, but if you could share a little bit more on that, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
jump into this one. Yeah, of course. So we typically see a couple different footprints, and I think the most popular we would say is in kind of the 5,000 to 7,000 square foot range. And to really get that off the ground, and we're talking everything from your initial franchise fee to your grand opening marketing expenses, all of those things, maybe in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, depending on where you're at there. And then we do have kind of a step above that, which would add another 2,000 to 3,000 square feet and a half court basketball court. So you are looking at a much larger investment there, maybe $450,000 to $550,000. But then may have the ability to do some basketball and volleyball specific training if you have a network and a background or competence kind of in those sports. Chance, anything you want to add there, or Katie, anything you want to add there?
Just I would just add, from a fact standpoint, you know, I've surveyed tens of thousands of our members. The number one reason why they bring their athlete to Redline is to help make them faster. Okay, so the most important aspect of a Redline is going to be our speed and agility area. If you see on the picture behind TJ on the right is kind of the speed and agility, and then directly behind him is the basketball court. So basketball court optional, not necessarily recommended. Unless you already have a pre-existing business that can move into that or that would, you know, rent it out. But therefore, we can comfortably go into a smaller footprint. We don't need, 17-foot clear heights either, like high ceilings. We can be in a much smaller space. The road to profitability is much quicker. To kind of give you an idea, break even for us is typically around 215 members ish. And in our pre-sales, we're coming out, like our most recent pre-sale, we graduated 335 pre-sold members. So now the smaller your footprint is, the more of that goes to the bottom line, right? And if you want to go big, it's just going to take more members to get to that break even. So just kind of keep that in mind. Hopefully that helps.
Sure, absolutely. For someone who's looking to get involved, how much capital would they need up front to get started? You know, is there any specific number on that? Do you accept financing options for someone who might, want to get in, but they're not quite there?
Yeah, so we don't finance internally, but right now banks are anywhere from 10% down to as high as 30% down, depending on that person's credit and financial wherewithal, right? The terms will differ a little bit, but we have great partnerships with lenders that we can make introductions to our franchisees with that work with us often. We have a great relationship with the SBA, so we can certainly, support them throughout that entire process.
Okay, fantastic. And on that same subject, do you guys offer any incentives, financially or even just, for fun, anything out of the ordinary for our U.S. military or veterans? Is there anything special that you would offer them to come on board?
Yeah, we do too. So we have a discount on our initial franchise fee, which is 10% off the top, and then as they go through the process, some of our other vendors and partners have additional discounts that they'll be able to accept throughout the process.
Yeah, we love our vets. We love
Absolutely.
our vets. Make it
Good.
no mistake about it. Then they typically make incredible franchisees as well,
Yeah.
for the record. So
They're
yeah,
being told what to do, when to do it, what time should they do it. They
Structure
love
is kind of their thing.
Yeah, they love following direction, which makes it for a great franchisee.
amen.
Good to hear.
Also, one other thing, Brianna, that I'll tell you, if somebody buys a 3-pack, it's essentially buy 2, get 1 free. So if somebody, decides, hey, we're going to go for it, and you go a little bit bigger, you can get 3 for the price of 2.
Okay, good. Very cool incentives. You guys definitely are set up for success. I mean, it's fantastic that you guys have so many, so many different perks in place for not only people who are prospecting your company, but also just starting out and people who have been there for a little bit as well. No matter where they come from, they have something to look forward to. And I would say that makes your franchise unique. But if there's anything else that you guys want to add about what makes your franchise model unique, share it with us. Let us know.
I mean, I would just say to reach out. They're going to talk to me directly, and kind of looping Chance and Brad in again as direct report and the team as soon as they want, particularly in Arizona. We can have them swing by the office whenever. But I mean, if they're passionate about kids and they're interested maybe doing one of these, we feel like, this is one of the best markets out there, and they should, call sooner than later, and let's start having a dialogue about whether or not they'd be a good fit.
And we could break bread before you're a franchisee too. I'm great with that. So literally, if you are interested and you're watching this, you want to know more and you want to get a better feel for Katie and myself and the team here, reach out, talk to TJ. We'll set something up. You come check out Scottsdale, see what you think. We could go break bread. I promise to listen better than I talk, and we will go from there. It's I think it's a real gut feeling thing that you have to go off of in franchising. You need to know the team that you're going to be working with and relying on. It's good to be able to see a performance center in action before you take a leap as well. And that's all here in the Valley. So, depending on where you live, it should be no more than 45 minutes away from where you're at. And we'd love to have you. We'd love to host you. And let's get to know each other a little bit better, and you can make your decision from there.
Cool. Very cool. Anything else you guys want to add? Anything cool? I know that you mentioned something, and we're kind of wrapping up here, but you did mention something to me earlier about having a special training program, proprietary program to look forward to. Is that something you guys want to discuss before we separate ways?
I'm gonna try to give you the elevator pitch for what we created. So in a membership business model, okay, you're going to battle attrition, and that's just a part of any membership-based business. Now, the great thing about membership-based business, it's recurring revenue, okay? If you want to open a Subway, you start over at 0 every month, right? So you never know how many sandwiches you're going to sell. But in a Redline, you might have $50,000 in recurring revenue set up that's coming month after month after month. And you want to do your best to retain that as long as you can retain that, right? So what I've done over the past 6 years is I've surveyed tens of thousands of canceled members to figure out why they left. And based on what they're telling me and the responses that I'm getting, one, they still love us, and two, they plan on coming back, but they need to take a little break for something else going on inside of their life. So we created a membership type that allows our members, and this is proprietary, patent pending, allows our members to, on a week-to-week basis, change their membership and their weekly payment between 3 different options. So you can go from unlimited to 1 time a week, or you can flip it to away if you're not going to be able to come in at all. And your payment goes down in the process. So having launched that, at this point, I would say our attrition is about 3%. Before that, we were at like 9%. So it's working really, really well. And it's just allowing us to get to that, to get to our potential, speaking of reaching your potential, by making sure people aren't leaving out the back door, giving them the freedom to step out, step away, and then come back on their terms, on their time. And it's been incredible for us so far. And the good news is, like, you didn't have to go through the first 6 years of the learning process to get to that membership. You'll be able to walk in, and that'll be the membership that you sell, which will allow you to reach peaks, that wouldn't have been possible a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So sure. We're super excited about it. If you become a franchisee, you'll never know any difference. So you'll probably take it for granted, but that's okay. And your success is our success at the end of the day. So that's new. It's exciting. It's proprietary, and that's probably the best way that I could put it.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys all for all this great information. I'm sure that our viewers, whoever's watching this, has hopefully no questions at this point. If they do, then feel free to give us a call, call you guys, ask the questions, call TJ. He's going to be your point of contact, and any questions, like Chance said, break bread, Katie, marketing support, any questions that anyone has, you guys are fantastic. So keep up the good energy, and hopefully this video will reach the right person who's been just dying to start a Redline Athletics all this time. So any final words from anyone? Or
no, thank you for your time, Aaron. We appreciate you having us.
Yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for listening. We'd love to meet you in person. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for joining today. I think it was great information, and hopefully you find your perfect Arizona franchisee.
That's right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Appreciate
Bye.
you.